I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. And when we allow freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Good morning and welcome to the 35th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast presented by Florida Blue. I'm Anthony Austin with First Coast News, and this is my 5th year to serve as a co-host of this great breakfast. And even though we're not all in the same room, I'm glad to be here with you all once again.
And yes, good morning. We are grateful to have you all with us virtually. I'm Dawn Lopez with Action News Jax. I was born and raised here in Jacksonville. I have grown up on the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast. It has always been a year that we all can come together. I could see all of my old friends from all across the city in so many different industries. We all come together with one common goal. That's unity all over breakfast, there to be inspired. And I miss hugging your necks, seeing you face to face and enjoying this breakfast with you. We have to do it virtually this year. It's to make sure that we're all safe. And that's what I wish for you this year, a prosperous and a very safe new year. But we're here together thanks to technology. Well, let's get started.
To begin today, we will honor our great country with the national anthem performed by Don't Miss a Beat All-Stars, led by Ulysses Owens Jr., who is the artistic director. This is a local group that uses the performing arts to facilitate youth development and cultivate youth talent. The Don't Miss a Beat nonprofit organization blends music, art, academic achievement, and civic engagement to enhance the lives of children, teens, and their parents in at-Hope neighborhoods of Jacksonville. So please welcome Don't Miss a Beat All-Stars, led by Ulysses Owens Jr.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red black, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
A big thank you to Don't Miss a Beat All-Stars. And now please join us in welcoming Bishop John E. Guns, senior pastor at St. Paul Church of Jacksonville, for today's invocation.
Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend." Let us pray. O eternal Spirit and everlasting God, we thank you for the wonderful and amazing way by which you give us each day the glorious and wonderful opportunity to serve humanity. We have gathered virtually to celebrate the life of a man that you embedded into the very womb of the human experience and allowed him to emerge out of the ashes of obscurity, mediocrity, and racism to speak to life, to speak to wholeness, to speak to healing. On this day, eternal God, we thank you that we get this glorious opportunity to celebrate his life. But oh God, may we not just simply celebrate the life of Martin King, but may we also live out that which he felt called to. May we feel the burden and the weight to live a life called to serve humanity. May we embrace praxis. May we embrace not only the theory of love, but we also embrace the action of love. May we declare that we are the embodiment of what you have created us to be. O eternal God, our loving and gracious Spirit, may we never fail to be faithful to what you called us to do. May we be courageous. May we be bold, facing racism and sexism, classism, ageism. May we have the courage to be inclusive and diverse, embracing those who dare to be authentic. May we exemplify your spirit, oh God. And because of the sacrifices you've made in human history, and because of the willingness to give up your best and embody your best in love, we now on this day declare that while we celebrate one man's life, we ultimately celebrate humanity and the good that is in us, the kindness that is in us, the graciousness that is in us, and the joy and the peace that comes from human interaction. And so on this day, may we, oh God, be willing to serve, to stand, to live, and to declare that all things are working together for good. May we honor your name, and may we celebrate who we're created to be. In the glorious, amazing name of the one who died and yet was resurrected, and the one who embraces all, and all is loved. In that name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop Guns. It is our responsibility as leaders and mentors to lift and embody Dr. King's legacy by serving others in our community in order to bring about social change. When people come together and work with each other to make a community a better place is when true change and growth occurs. There's a number of people in Jacksonville who work hard every day to lift Dr. King's legacy. Thank you for all you do for our community, and in an effort to continue to represent the legacy, leadership, and service of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Mayor Curry created a host committee for this annual celebration. This breakfast continues to lift Dr. King's legacy under their guidance. Thank you to the host committee members.
This event wouldn't be possible without the support from the many partners and sponsors of this year's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast. First, we would like to recognize our presenting sponsor, Florida Blue. Next, our Tomorrow's Leader sponsor, ViStar Credit Union. Our Be the Change sponsorship program sponsor, TIAA Bank. Our legacy sponsors, Jacksonville Jaguars Foundation, CSX, First Coast News, Action News Jax, ASM Global Jacksonville, Sight and Sound Productions. Our visionary sponsors, Baptist Health, JP Morgan Chase, Fidelity Investments, University of North Florida, the Jacksonville Transportation Authority, Deutsche Bank, iHeartMedia, V101.5 and 93.3 The Beat, WJCT and Cox Media Group, Hot 99.5 and Power 106.1.
Lift Every Voice and Sing is often referred to as the Black National Anthem. It's a song originally written by Jacksonville native James Weldon Johnson as a poem. The NAACP dubbed it as the Negro National Anthem as it was a cry for liberation and affirmation for Black people. I'd like to once again introduce Don't Miss a Beat All-Stars, led by Ulysses Owens Jr. to perform this iconic song.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony which our fathers sighed. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast brought thy minds, let us into the light. Keep us forever in the path we pray. Let freedom ring. 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 Let freedom ring.
Beautiful music, beautiful song that has stood the test of time and written and composed by a native son of ours right here from the River City, James Weldon Johnson. Well, thank you for that great performance. Now to introduce the Tomorrow's Leaders presented by VyStar Credit Union Award recipients, please welcome Kwanzaa Humphrey, VyStar Credit Union's Chief Human Resources Officer.
The Tomorrow's Leaders Award recipients presented by VyStar Credit Union are a diverse group of youth who epitomize the ideas and principles of Dr. King and work to lift his legacy in their everyday lives. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way." This year, students submitted essays sharing about times in their lives where they did something small in a great way. Today, 6 students are being recognized as Tomorrow's Leaders. We will hear the essays from the first place elementary, middle, and high school winners. But first, we would like to recognize the runners-up. Elementary runner-up, Leonard Simmons, 5th grade, from Riverside Presbyterian Day School. Middle school runner-up, Candler Lott, 6th grade, from Riverside Presbyterian Day School. High school runner-up, Irma Brown, 12th grade, homeschool. Now, let's hear from Tomorrow's Leaders presented by VyStar Credit Union's First Place Award recipients.
Hi, my name is Brooklyn Reeves, and I am 10 years old, and I'm in 5th grade at Biscayne Elementary Leadership Academy. My mom said, "Brooklyn, remember that time I had cancer?" And I was like, "Yeah," and she said, "You were like helping me around and that stuff," and I was like, "Oh, right, I was," and I didn't even realize.
Is there a Brooklyn Reeves here?
I was like, so this is how much you can't be surprised at all. And like, you see the end of the classroom? To the end of the school? To the end of the universe? That's how much I was surprised.
You won!
I won.
You are Tomorrow's Leader.
Yay!
her essay, I was brought to tears because not only that truly is Brooklyn, that's just who she is, but to know that that one small thing that she did, she realized the impact that she made was huge. And that impact that she made in her family life, she know that can translate into her education, as well as she move forward through the world, she can make a huge impact in the world. So I'm very proud of Brooklyn.
He was like an inspirational man. He fought for black people, and I love that because if it probably wasn't for him, I don't think it would be like this right now. You can still make a huge difference in life that can impact the whole world. A long time ago, Martin Luther King spoke up and made a huge difference in the civil rights movement. He said, "If I cannot do great things, I'll do small things in a great way." People throughout time have done small things that have major impacts. I did too. This is the small thing I did that resulted in a huge impact. One day my mom got cancer and she got really weak. When she told me and my sister, I got really scared. After she told us, we read books about cancer. We read about how some people lose their hair with cancer and how they become really tired. The next day, I thought about how I could help my mom recover. The first thought that came to my mind is how my mom takes care of my baby sister. She takes her a bath, dresses her in the morning, does her hair, and she takes us all to school. I started to wake up my baby sister in the morning. I took her baths, got her dressed for school, and all my mom had to do was take us to school. She was getting her strength back fast, and after a few weeks, my mom was feeling better. I could not take cancer away, but my small thing made a huge impact. I am proud that I helped my mom recover faster from her cancer.
Hi, my name is Kinley Nelson. I am a 6th grader and I am 12 years old and I go to Riverside Presbyterian Day School. We were going to collect all these foods for the shelter, and I thought, what a perfect idea, that'd fit into my essay. And I was very inspired by that.
Is there a Kinley Nelson in the room? Kinley, congratulations. You are the winner of the MLK Tomorrow's Leaders
Oh my goodness.
essay. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's so inquisitive. She just loves learning. It doesn't matter what subject she's in. And at the end of every class, she says, "Thank you for class." And she's so appreciative of all of the help that she gets around school. And she is just so encouraging to everybody else in the classroom.
I feel like he really inspires us to almost try and do what he does, helping everyone be equal and giving them that same part of being equal for the very beginning, but then just helping you get to where you want to be and just really inspiring people.
I love this essay contest because every year, there's a new quote from Martin Luther King Jr. that we can think about, reflect on, and set goals from.
Well, he inspired a lot of people, and I want to inspire them with the animals, and in a different way because he inspired people, but I want to do it with animals, and I think that's kind of cool, whether it's dogs, cats, any animal, and just helping them, I feel. He helped a lot of people, and I want to do the same thing. "If I cannot do great things, I can do great things in a small way," said Martin Luther King Jr. When he said this, he was telling us even small things can be done in a great way and have a big impact. Since I was little, I have loved animals. I always love helping animals get permanent homes, attention, and food. It makes me feel like I have helped the world. Even though it may only be one small thing, it still makes a big difference. One way I help do great things in a small way is by going to a camp every summer that teaches young children about taking care of stray animals. At the camp, we read books to animals. This helps reduce the amount of stress they are going through, and it helps calm the animals. We also make things for the animals like heating pads out of rice and a sock. We make signs for the animals to help them get adopted. Our work helps the animals to get adopted and have the tools they need to survive. Another way I help do great things in a small way is by fostering kittens every November for my birthday. We get the kittens at about 1 pound or less and foster them until they are about 2 pounds when they can be adopted. When I foster the kittens, I feed them about 4 to 5 times a day, clean their litter, and I will sometimes have to give them their medicine if they have any prescribed. Fostering the kittens helps the kittens get adopted because they are too small to stay in the shelter. A final way I help do great things in a small way is by donating food to the Jacksonville Humane Society. This year, I am collecting animal food at my birthday party. Instead of receiving presents, I will donate animal food, beds, and toys, and anything that could help the animals to the Jacksonville Humane Society. By donating food to the shelter, I will be helping the dogs and cats at the shelter to have food. It will also help the shelter to not have to pay for food, beds, or toys for the animals. This is why doing small things in a great way can have a big impact in communities. Martin Luther King Jr. thought all people should be equitable. By helping these animals, I am giving them all a chance for a good life like Martin Luther King Jr. did with people. He thought all people should be given a chance no matter what they look like or where they came from. When I helped these animals, I slowly started to make a change in the world in a small but great way. And I will continue to help these animals because they deserve to be given a chance.
My name is Aria Brown. I'm 15 years old and I'm a sophomore at Samuel Wilson. I wrote my essay about being an ambassador and how important it was to me at school, and I was an ambassador in middle school and I really enjoy doing it now. So that really inspired me.
Is there an Aria Brown in the room?
I was extremely surprised. Like, I came to school, I wasn't expecting this at all. I was just, like, we were just in English and we were learning about a new book we were about to read.
She is, looking at going into college and as many scholarships or grants or whatever she can get to help her with school. And I just looked at this will look good on your resume when you're going into school, and just made the suggestion. I thought maybe, that would be great for her in regards to her, whatever school she decides to go to.
From my essay, I would like people to take from it to just stay inspired and continue to push forward no matter what setbacks you have, because I found that it was really inspirational to me whenever I see people keep going no matter what happens to them.
Dr. King's legacy to me, never give up, always keep striving to improve and do better, and I try to do that every day. Always try to put your best foot forward.
It's extremely important to me. I've always looked up to him since I started learning about him in elementary school, and all the things that he's done for the voices around America, and I just really appreciate it. And to be chosen for this is really special to me. Martin Luther King Jr. was young, gifted, and black. He was a model student who entered college at age 15. While he was destined to make greatness, he was not immune from the racial prejudice he experienced during his youth. He wanted to make a difference in the lives of black citizens who were subjected to injustices, inferiority, and inhumane treatment throughout the United States. His initial intent was to make small contributions to help from the pulpit of his local church. However, in 1955, he would become the face of the civil rights movement. Throughout his leadership and sacrifice, as well as his love for God and fellow men, he changed the course of all Americans and their future generations. When you see me, I hope you see the content character Dr. King dreamt of. During any opportunity where I can serve others, I remind myself, if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Dr. King's words encouraged me to serve my home, community, and school. Little did I know when I submitted an ambassador application in 6th grade at Julia Landon College Prep, I would have such a great impact on others. As an ambassador, I represent my school as a student leader and conduct tours for prospective students. Now, as a 15-year-old sophomore at Wilson High School, I am experiencing for my 5th consecutive year as an ambassador, and I would not change that for the world. Conducting tours for families is so enriching as it allows me to present an image of Wilson that cannot be reached by the administration. Being one of the first faces many children and parents see when they walk through Wilson's front doors can offer a level of comfort. I am proud to be the diversity, excellence, and hope that is Wilson. In addition to being an ambassador, I have served on Wilson Student Government Association, Black History Club, marching band, and I am a lettered athlete. In April 2021, I attended the Duval County Council of PTA's Student Leadership Academy. I also serve on the Mayor's Young Leaders Advisory Council, where I work with other high school students to offer solutions to city leaders regarding issues that plague Jacksonville youth. Although I am only a sophomore, I have earned 100+ community service hours, and my most meaningful experiences have been distributing food for Northeast Florida and Farm Share Incorporated during the height of COVID-19. Serving on the front lines during 4 events in 2021 when people were hurting and uncertain was humbling. I often believed my small act of filling trunks with food was unimportant until I saw the gratitude of families who received my help. I am incredibly proud of my service, whether at school as an ambassador or in the community distributing food. I may not be great yet, but I hope Dr. King would be pleased with the potential for greatness that he inspired in me.
And congratulations to all the recipients. Let's give our Tomorrow's Leaders winners a virtual round of applause. And now we'd like to welcome the leader of our grand city. When he took the oath of office nearly 7 years ago, Mayor Lenny Curry laid out a bold vision for one city, one Jacksonville, a vision in which he says every citizen in every community in our city has access to the tools and resources they need to succeed. A vision in which we are all united in our shared mission to build a better Jacksonville for us all. Since taking office, his team at City Hall has led the way on many major accomplishments, including a solution to the city's long-standing pension crisis, the reformation of the Children's Services with the Kids Hope Alliance, and major investments in law enforcement, neighborhoods, downtown, and economic development. Please welcome Mayor Lenny Curry.
Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to the 35th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast. Our gathering for this annual tradition looks a little different this year, but I'm grateful for the hard work of our staff, honorees, vendors, and guests for so quickly pivoting this event into the virtual sphere. This opportunity to come together as a community and reflect, honor, and strengthen our commitment to Dr. King's ideals of justice, goodwill, and mutual respect is needed now more than ever. These continue to be unprecedented times, but we are blessed with a resilient community, and this morning I am filled with optimism about the future of Jacksonville. I continue to be surprised by the profoundly inspiring messages conveyed in the essays from this year's Tomorrow's Leaders winners. Surprising the 3 winners has become a highly anticipated tradition of mine. I'm truly disappointed that I was not able to attend this year. But I'd like to thank Dr. Moreland, our Director of Community Affairs, for stepping in to surprise and celebrate our winners. Aria, Kinley, and Brooklyn, congratulations to each of you. I'm confident that you will lead us to wonderful destinations in the years ahead. This year's essay prompt was, if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Our community is made up of many people doing small things in a great way. Throughout this pandemic, we have seen compassion, togetherness, and brotherhood. Each act of kindness and aid, no matter how small, is a small act done in a great way. I'm inspired by the future leaders we have met today, but I also continue to be inspired by the passion of Jacksonville citizens each and every day. Dr. King's vision for America was rooted in his firm belief in the equality of all mankind, and that we are a stronger nation when we are united across all barriers and divisions. Our city, like our nation, is composed by people from various backgrounds and experiences, and we are stronger because of it. When I took the oath of office in 2015, I committed to a vision of one city, one Jacksonville. That vision is rooted in the same idea that we are stronger when we work together, when we rely on each other and leverage the knowledge, strengths, and experiences of our friends and neighbors. I remain just as committed to that vision today as I did then. We must remember that in our city's history are amazing leaders who saw this strength and took righteous action toward creating a society based on equality, justice, and freedom. Leaders like A. Philip Randolph, Eartha M.M. White, James Weldon Johnson, and so many others. As we move forward together, we must do what we can to honor their legacies and the legacy set forth by Dr. King. I look forward to the great future that I know is ahead for our city. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Curry. And now let's welcome our presenting sponsor, Mr. Darnell Smith, Florida Blue Market President for North Florida.
Good morning, friends. Thank you for joining us today. I am Darnell Smith, Market President, North Florida at Florida Blue. We're honored to present the 35th Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King. Dr. King would be 93 years old tomorrow. Congratulations to all of the 2022 Tomorrow's Leaders winners. Continue to strive and achieve. We're all so proud of you. We're coming off of a very trying year, 2021, but I am proud that as a community, we were and we are resilient. We continue to work together to overcome adversities affecting our community. Dr. King once said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? To our teachers, first responders, healthcare workers, civic and community leaders, and everyone on the front line, keeping our community moving forward. Thank you for your continued heroic efforts to lead us through this pandemic. Here is some of what we are doing at Florida Blue. Last year, we were facing a racial reckoning in our country following the unfortunate and untimely deaths of several of our fellow Black Americans. At that time, I shared how Florida Blue's parent company, Guidewell, stepped up to the plate with the establishment of our Equity Alliance Task Force to address systemic racism and resulting health disparities for Black Americans. I also told you how we committed $25 million in investments to organizations focused on diversity, inclusion, and health equity. As part of that commitment, this past year we provided $2.5 million for development and implementation of a statewide program to ensure that families and community members have both the access and opportunity to attain their full health potential and are not disadvantaged due to environmental, economic, and/or social circumstances. We're doing this through training more than 3,000 healthcare professionals who can go on to become trainers in their own facilities, focusing on health disparities, community strategies, bias stereotyping, and more. But Florida Blue isn't the only one fighting the good fight or making good trouble, as Congressman John Lewis always said. Recently, I heard a phrase that resonated with me. We can't be content with only cleaning our end of the pool. If we did, the pool would still be dirty. Therefore, we can't be content with making Jacksonville better for some and not for others. There are many leaders and organizations throughout our community stepping up to address issues facing the community, including poverty and health equity. One example is Lift Jacks, in conjunction with the Mayor's Office, the Historical East Side CDC, and numerous corporate, philanthropic, and community partners, working to eradicate generational poverty through planned projects on Jacksonville's East Side. Lift Jacksonville developed Project Boots, a new program that will guide local residents on their path toward home ownership. Miller Electric, who stepped up and donated $1 million to the United Way of Northeast Florida to support their focus on race, equity, and social justice. The Jacks Chamber developed the Lewis and White Business League, which offers a forum and opportunities for African American business owners and residents. Rodney Hurst, the United Way of Northeast Florida, and others are putting on a civil rights conference in August of this year. We hope to bring many in the community together to talk about and execute work that still needs to be done. We hope you will participate in the conference. And that is just a few. There are many other leaders and organizations stepping up and doing their part to make Jacksonville a better place for everyone. I would be remiss if I didn't say something about the pandemic. Last year, we all were reeling from the impact of the pandemic on our community. In keeping health equity at the forefront of everything we do, Florida Blue and several partners made a concerted effort to host vaccination clinics for people who are underserved, seniors, low-income residents, those in rural communities. But even with these efforts, the Black community is still statistically the lowest group to have received the COVID-19 vaccination. According to a study by the CDC in December, only 38% of the African American population in Florida received the vaccination. I know members of this community and their families who have suffered greatly from COVID-19. We all know someone who has been affected. Friends, let's continue to do the right thing. Get vaccinated, mask up, wash or sanitize your hands regularly, and don't congregate in large crowds at this time. As a community, let's continue to support efforts to keep this pandemic at bay and keep the ones we love safe and healthy. If we do so, we can keep Jacksonville and Florida open for business. Now the moment you all have been waiting for. Despite having her right leg amputated at age 5, our speaker today became the first African American ever to win medals in Winter Olympic competition, taking home a silver and 2 bronze medals at the 1984 Paralympics in Austria. She graduated magna cum laude from Harvard University and then received her master's from Oxford University. In addition to her success as a Paralympic athlete, she is a best-selling author, keynote speaker, television and radio personality, business owner, and Fortune 500 leadership consultant. In 2010, she represented the United States as a member of President Obama's official delegation to the Paralympic Winter Games in Vancouver. In 2015, she was inducted into the National Association of Women Business Owners Hall of Fame. And today, she travels the globe sharing her story and providing inspiration and motivation to groups of all ages. Without further ado, please welcome Bonnie St. John.
An inspirational speaker, an Olympic medalist, and a single mom.
And a great woman. Bonnie, we are so thrilled
to have you
here.
I am so glad to be here with my ladies.
Love you here.
From the spotlight of national television to the Olympic ski slopes of Europe, from Wall Street to Washington, D.C., Bonnie St. John embodies the true essence of winning.
I want to tell you the story about Bonnie St. John. She is the kind of person that you really want to be around, and the kind of person who shows that individual courage matters in life. And so, Bonnie, thanks for coming. God bless.
Bonnie began life with a disadvantage that would have overwhelmed most of us. The growth was stunted in her right leg, forcing her to make the decision of a lifetime at the tender age of 5 years old.
The doctor told me he was going to cut off my leg. And I said, well, can I wear any color shoes that I want? And will both my feet be on the floor even? And he said, yes. And I said, sure, great, cut it off.
But nothing could keep this determined young girl down. Bonnie qualified for the 1984 U.S. Paralympic team, making history as the first African American ever to win Olympic medals in Winter Olympic competition.
My mind took me to the mountain. It was a journey that began inside a dream. My mind awakened me to become something I never imagined possible. An athlete.
Fresh from her Olympic victory, Bonnie attended Harvard University, graduating with honors and winning the prestigious Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford. She began her business career at IBM and was soon appointed by President Clinton as a director of the National Economic Council. Today, Bonnie St. John travels the globe as a keynote speaker and leadership consultant for hundreds of companies and associations worldwide. The author of 7 best-selling books, she has been featured extensively in the national and international media. Bonnie's message of strength, perseverance, and courage has touched millions of lives.
I said go with what you got. Start from where you are. Give it your best shot. Keep reaching for that star. Go with what you got.
Hi, I am so excited to be here today. I am just really inspired by the ways that our winners today that we are honoring have done great things. You know, even if you're not in a powerful position, you can still do great things. And we have such good examples of that. And these are just the winners. And I want to congratulate everyone who sent in an essay and an entry, because all of you are aspiring and inspiring other people around you as well. It's a great theme, and it means a lot to me too, is even if you can't do big things, you can still do great things in a small way. And I'm inspired by Martin Luther King's words and how we can all make a difference. For me, I struggled so much when I was little. My leg was amputated when I was 5 years old, and I couldn't run with other kids. There were so many little things I couldn't do. Just even, walking along the shore at the beach, and how, I've always seen people walking in the surf at the edge of the water. And it's just something I've never been able to do because it would ruin my artificial foot. And so I can sit in the surf. I can hop in the surf. But I can't just stroll along the water's edge. It's something I've always wanted to do. And, it's just little things like that. And running and playing with other kids, hopscotch. When I was a kid, I couldn't do like the other girls, and jumping rope, and so many things that you might take for granted were not available to me. Just running through a sprinkler, I always wanted to be able to do. There were so many things I couldn't do. And so when I got the chance to go skiing, a friend of mine in high school invited me to go skiing with her family over Christmas vacation. And I had seen on TV other amputees like Ted Kennedy Jr. skiing. And so I knew it was possible for a one-legged person to ski, but I didn't know how to do it. And I had to search around to get the special equipment and to find instructors that taught one-legged people how to ski. So it was a little bit challenging to get started, but I went out. And when I first went out, the very first day, it was so hard. I fell and I fell and I fell, and I wasn't even going anywhere. I was on one leg on the bunny hill on the easy ski slope, and I just kept falling. And I wasn't even really moving very far. I couldn't do conventional sports. I couldn't do conventional Olympics, but I had this opportunity to do Paralympics. And Paralympics is now a lot more well known, but when I was in high school, it wasn't very well known. And so it was this idea that, if you can't do the regular Olympics, at least I could do Paralympics. So I could be successful in a smaller way and make a difference by showing the way for other people with disabilities, and by showing people without disabilities that people with disabilities can do things. We don't just sit down and do nothing because we're broken. We have talents and we have a lot to offer. And so I made it through my first week of skiing. I fell and I fell and I fell, and I just kept getting up, but I made it through, and I started skiing more. And then I started skiing with other amputees, and I met amputees that raced. So I started racing with them and doing NASCAR, and I got a scholarship to go to a ski racing school in Vermont. And I was the first amputee to attend that school full time. And one of the first Black students ever to attend that ski racing school too. So I broke a lot of barriers, and I wasn't going to get to be a conventional success, but I was able to ski in the Paralympics. And I'm the first African American to win medals in Paralympics as well. I'm wearing my medals today, 2 bronze and a silver. And so I really had a breakthrough in doing that. And when I actually competed, I was on the US team and I was going to Paralympics for the first time. I was the 3rd ranked one-legged woman in the US. And that was good because they only took 3 one-legged women on the team. So after years of training, I had just barely made it onto the team. And no one expected me to beat the other 2 one-legged women on the team. I was the 3rd ranked member. And so no one really expected me to win anything. But I trained really hard. I even trained all summer on a glacier in Oregon for a couple of summers and just pushed myself. And I trained with 2-legged skiers. So I pushed myself really hard. And when I got to the Paralympics in Innsbruck, Austria, and I came down the first run of the slalom run, my time was the fastest in the world. So it was an upset. It was a surprise to everyone because no one expected me to beat my own teammates, never mind everybody else in the world. But I trained hard, I pushed myself hard, and there I was. I just want to leave you with one more thought from one of my great coaches, Warren Witherell. He was the headmaster of Burke Mountain Academy, the ski training school where I went senior year of high school. And, you know, he was an amazing coach. He coached he coached snow skiing as well as water skiing and collegiate competitions. And when kids came to him and said, we're really struggling to be able to compete in skiing because they would get pulled out of their school in winter and then they'd have to struggle to catch up. And it was very disruptive. And so they said to him, you know, what we really need is a high school for skiers. So he created Burke Mountain Academy, the high school where I went for senior year, because he was responding to what kids needed to be able to be competitive and really do their best. So I applied to Burke Mountain Academy. I didn't have any money. My family didn't have any money at all. So I applied and said, I don't have any money. I need a full scholarship if I'm going to go. And Warren gave me that chance. He and his team at Burke Mountain Academy decided to give me a full scholarship to come and train and compete. And so I showed up at the school and I really struggled. I actually broke my leg, my only leg, on the first day of school, falling off a piece of training equipment. And so it was very, very difficult, but I stuck it out, and that made the difference to help me become a champion. So many years later, Warren came back and asked me to speak at graduation for a school that he was working at in Colorado. So he was heading up a school in Colorado for ski racers. So he started the school in Vermont that was the first of its kind, a high school for ski racers. But then many other schools were formed like that. And he was, years later, he was in Colorado helping to create this school. And he asked me to come out and speak at graduation. And it was amazing. I flew out to Colorado and I met him in Denver, and he picked me up and drove me up to the mountains, up to the school. And we were talking and catching up, and it was great. You know, he had made such a difference for so many people. And I said, you know, how did you do it? How did you help so many people to find the greatness in themselves? And he said, I didn't try to make every person, I didn't try to work with people one-on-one. He said, what I actually did was create communities of champions.
Thank you, Mrs. St. John's, for that insightful word and for continuing to motivate and encourage so many people through your leadership and your work in the community. And now I'd like to introduce John Pataki, Executive Vice President and Chief Banking Officer at TIAA Bank.
Thank you, Dawn. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Pataki, and I'm so pleased to be here on behalf of TIAA Bank, where I serve as Executive Vice President and Chief Banking Officer. It's an honor to celebrate the legacy of Dr. King and the work that goes on decades later. At TIA Bank, doing our part to help better the communities in which we live and work is essential to our core values. As part of that commitment, TIAA launched the Be the Change platform in 2020. This initiative continues to work towards real change. That's why we partnered with the City of Jacksonville and asked students from 14 local schools for their insights on how we can all work together to tackle racial injustice and make our communities a safe and more equitable place. Over the past several months, students were challenged to share their ideas about how to promote social justice in Jacksonville for a chance to win one of 4 $5,000 scholarships. If the essays we received were an indicator, the future is in good hands. The responses we received from these students were inspiring. Today, we're here to announce and celebrate our winners. First, from Jean Ribault High School, congratulations to Joshua, Michael, and Ashley. And from the School for Accelerated Learning and Technologies, congratulations to Natavia. We're thrilled to present $5,000 to each of you to advance your vision for the future. We hope this scholarship helps propel you onto a path of success and you continue to use your voices as powerful tools for positive change. There's no doubt the world has changed in a short time. Even with all the challenges presented, the work for justice continues and we're in pursuit of lasting change. Thank you for celebrating the ongoing work of Dr. King and the next generation of hope.
What a way to bring this annual celebration to a close. And we challenge everyone today to be the best at what you do, encourage others around you, and be the positive role model for change in our community.
Like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. We hope that you have been encouraged and that you have been inspired and that this breakfast has united our city. Thank you for joining us for the 35th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast presented by Florida Blue.